Hey, good morning. We are on the trail nice and early. It's a nice cool morning. Woke up, it was like 42. Nice and chilly. Really kind of just made a quick breakfast and got going so I'd get a nice early start. I got woken up this morning to somebody's car alarm going off. A little ways in the distance at another campsite, but I said at that point, might as well get up, get going. Got a good night's sleep last night too, nice and chilly. So I just did a quick breakfast this morning. Some instant coffee in the semi-jet boil, not quite a jet boil brand, but something very similar that boils water in like a minute. So coffee in a minute, I'll take it. Dunks can't even do that. But I did the old Mountain Man freeze-dried food in a bag. It was like a breakfast blend or something like that. So it was like eggs, hash browns, peppers, onions, a little bit of everything in there. And I don't know, maybe you think it looked gross, but it tasted pretty good. A little something different. And again, boil water in a minute and you're good to go. So can't beat that. So quick breakfast and now we're on the trail. So Mount Monadnock, if you're in Mass, think of it as north of like Fitchburg, and it's just over the line. So I don't know, I'm guessing like maybe 2 hours from Boston for the most part. So the claim is that Mount Monadnock is the most climbed mountain in the Western Hemisphere. And they say that so over 100,000 people a year climb it. And if you come on like a beautiful June day when it's not 100 degrees outside, you will see some of those, quite a few of those 100,000 people climbing this mountain. A lot of traffic, specifically between the school months and on the weekend. And White Dot is the shortest way up, steepest way up, but it's the most populated trail. So White Arrow, another good trail that'll get you up there pretty quickly, about the same length. Also populated, and it's a great mountain. 3166 as far as elevation, and I think you start around maybe 1300. I might have that number wrong, but I think it's about 1800 feet in elevation gain, and it's a decent mountain. It's not, I see people over the years with like flip-flops and a small bottle of, little Poland Spring bottle of water, and it's 85 degrees outside. Man, they're just asking for trouble. It's a mountain that beginners can do, but you can have a little bit of fitness and a lot more brains. You got to respect this mountain. With that said, if you want one that's going to kick your butt but not be impossible, go for Monadnock. Just be prepared. People with flip-flops and one bottle of water don't realize how things can go bad quick. You bust a toe or your ankle. This isn't Hollywood. It's not like 10 minutes and a helicopter's gonna swoop in with a bunch of smiling EMTs to save the day. Alright? Pretty much responsible for getting yourself down. Because a stubbed toe is not a reason to call 911. Today, I'm actually taking a trail I have not used before, Birchcroft to Red Spot. It's a little bit longer, but what I liked about it is you can actually catch Birchcroft right from the campground. So I literally left from my tent and never got into my car. Now typically you just get in your car, leave the campground, and you drive about a mile up the road and you'll be at the Monadnock headquarters, the state park headquarters, which is basically the base for most of the trails up. You pay a few bucks, you're good to go. If you stay at the Gilson Park Campground, your little tag that you have in your mirror from the campground gets you into the reservation for free, into the headquarters. So Birchcroft to Red Spot is about a 5 to 6 hour round trip, compared to White Dot's probably about 3.5, I think, typically. And so 5 to 6 hours round trip on this one, 3.25 up to the summit, and it's about 3.5 miles, so not bad. I haven't hit that typical steep straight up portion of the hike yet, which I'm not sure how much of that exists here. On White Spot and White Arrow, it's pretty relentless, not too far in either, so something to keep in mind. But been a great hike so far, nice cool day, and really not too many people out here. I'll tell you about a couple I just ran into coming down, which is the way I say it. The reason I say it like that is because I think it's about 8:30 in the morning right now. So the fact that they were doing a 5 to 6 hour round trip and they were coming down at this time It's an interesting story. You gotta stay tuned for that. Red spot. So summit 1.4. I just saw a sign a while back, like a minute ago, and it said it was a sign for the way down, and it said 2 miles to Gilson Pond, and I was like, wait, I've done 2 miles already? That's pretty sweet. So, making good time. I had done some weights this year with my friend Alyssa, and you know, obviously more elevation, gonna take more time to get up. I'm just walking a faster pace today on this mountain so far. We'll see if things slow down a little bit, but it's gotten nice and flat right now. You know, rocky, but the inclines haven't been too much, just like, you know, maybe 25-30 yards of incline, and then it levels off again. So pretty typical of a trail that's a little bit longer. It's obviously not going to go straight up. So I mentioned a couple that I saw coming down. I said, hey guys, and I didn't want to assume anything. I didn't want to say, hey, did you start and then turn around? So come to find out, they got a jump start at like 3:30 in the morning, which they must have had a good amount of layers on, because it was like low to mid 40s at that time. And you know, had some headlamps rolling, and the reason they got such an early jump start is they wanted to see the sunrise from the summit, which was pretty awesome, and they did. They made it just in time. Got a nice sunrise in, and it was a nice moment for that couple. It was nice to run into them. They did mention that on the way up, oh, here's that incline now, a little steeper for a short stint. They mentioned that on the way up, they'd hear some rustling off to the side, and they'd turn their heads, and their headlamps would shoot off into the woods, and they'd see a pair of eyes looking back at them. So the way they said it was, hey, there's a couple of cats out here. We're not talking domestic cats. I'm not really familiar with what kind of large cats are out in this area, but you can tap your sticks a few times, or if you happen to be wearing a bear bell, they don't want anything to do with you for the most part. Just make your presence known, don't sneak up on them. Usually you just keep moving. So that's a cool story to hear. So there were mostly hardwoods for the first couple of miles, but that's turned into conifers now. Nice little pines along the way, and getting quite a bit higher now. Starting to see a bit of a breeze and a little more sun. Feels awesome. And anytime I'm walking on top of this granite, am I the only one that's always amazed that you're walking on top of basically a giant boulder? You know, at this point it's probably about, you know, 2,500 feet high in the air. It's kind of nuts. Speaking of boulders, here's a bunch of little ones on top of the big one. This trail, by the way, very clearly marked. It was mostly red squares, pretty high up on the trees, and they were plentiful. If you're experienced and you were thinking of doing this in the winter, it's very well marked at that point. Now here, the markings are actually on the rocks. But at that last junction, this is pretty much the only way to go. So as long as you keep on this trail, you'll be good. So here's the top of the ledge. Not the summit, just the first view, if you will. I'm gonna get up on this boulder, turn around. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. So just in case you're like, okay, at what point do I see this view to make it worthwhile? Not that it hasn't been worthwhile the whole way up. But you're looking at about 2.8 miles, so I'm closing in with a half mile to go to the summit. Remember, the summit's about 3.4. I think I'm like an hour 38 in. I'm moving today. So once you hit some ledge for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, you gotta ditch the sticks and get your hands out because you need to grab onto something. Get to the top of that ledge and this is what you're gonna see. So Gilson Pond, I believe, is out there in the distance. So kind of give you a little idea. So somebody somewhere can tell me in the comments section what mountains I'm looking at. There looks to be something pretty prominent out this way. Up here now, pretty much just about at tree line, at the top of the tree line. It's a nice breeze, the sun's out. It's like, it's a beautiful day. I love it. Good time of year. Mid-September in New England. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. It could easily be 85 at this time of year because it's New England, but not today. Dry, cool, probably about, I don't know, maybe 50s, 55-ish. And it might be a little chilly at the top. Like I said, it's usually pretty windy, so we'll see when we get up there. Shouldn't be much longer now. So what do you do in the year 2020, in the COVID era, to make sure that you're hiking safely, not getting yourself or making others sick? It's pretty simple. Just do the same as what you would do when you go into a store. Maintain social distance. Sometimes that's tough if the trail isn't 6 feet wide, but do your best. If you're going down the mountain, step aside. People are going up have the right of way, and you know, do your best you can to pull aside while they go by you. See the buff I have on? Last couple of shots mid-mountain, I didn't have it on me because I was starting to heat up a little. I needed to cool down, so I had it tucked right here in my pack, and I was able to throw it on real quick. I've only seen 4 people so far this entire hike. If it's more traveled, then you're gonna need to make sure that you have it on so you can pull it out. The reason I use the buff, and it seems like most people on the mountain do the same, it's just easier to wear around you. Pull it up over your mouth and nose and you're good to go. And then hand sanitizer. Hey, before I eat, I'm gonna throw some hand sanitizer on because some of the rocks I've been touching, trees I've been touching, other people have touched too. Let's face it, even though you're outside, you don't want to get sick, because if you're sick, you can't hike. Beautiful views behind me, above tree line now. I believe that's Gilson Pond. right in front of me. So I was camping down there somewhere. How do you like that? Now all of a sudden, here we are. Monadnock Summit is completely bare. So even if it's a nice day out, bring a windbreaker or a light fleece, whatever you would bring that you might not need during the hike. But if you want to enjoy the top, that cold breeze chill you down fast. It'd be nice to have lunch at the top and be comfortable, so bring that extra top layer and you'll be nice and toasty. Told you there'd be some traffic today. This is pretty much how it is on the weekend. A little worse earlier in the year, I think, but you get the point. We're almost to the top. Get to share it with others. So, made it to the top. My clothing has changed a little. It got cold up here. Spent a little time up there, ate lunch, hydrated. Busy day up there, as usual. That's just the way it is. You find a little nook for yourself and enjoy your time with other people. Made it up in like 2:15. Ended up being about 3.6 miles, but much faster time, almost by an hour. Now it's time to go down. Alright, so I've been descending for a little while now. Probably about 20 minutes or so, not too long. Actually stayed at the summit for a little while, and I'm glad I did, because I was actually at the top looking to see which way I was going back down, and I heard some cheers and applause, and I look over, and I'll insert a picture here, but a couple is getting married, or at least the proposal happened anyway. So that was pretty cool. A nice spot to do that too. Between that and the couple taking in the sunrise this morning, it's like a Valentine special hike or something like that. So I should mention that the red spot will not take you to the summit. Sorry, I got the sniffles now. Always do going down. You connect with Pumpelly, or Pumpelly, something like that. And that's important. You can't miss it going up. Just all of a sudden you see a sign and it's like, oh, summit, and up you go. You may not realize you're actually on Pumpelly, but it's important on the way down, because you're not going to find anything that says red spot right away. You got to make sure you find Pumpelly, come down that, and I don't know, about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little longer, you'll see another set of signs, and there's Red Spot heading down. By the way, if you get turned around on the summit, which is very easy, you kind of just like looking out, and everything looks like the trail that you hiked up. It's pretty consistent. So if you lose your bearings a little, make sure you're at the top, the flat top, and just take a walk around, and you'll see writing in white, and it'll say like white dot, white arrow, Pumpelly, all the ways down, all the trails. So just do that, and then you'll be good as gold. Oh, I see that sign I've been looking for. 2 miles to Gilson Pond area. So not only do I know I have 2 miles to go, and I think I'm about 5.5 in. I remember that the first 2 miles wasn't all that bad, so it'd be nice to stop descending giant pieces of rock. So we're getting there. How we doing?
All right, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, so I am running into many more people actually going up. So the early jump start that I had, I think, was the reason behind my not running into too many people. I basically saw 4 to 6 people most of the way up. Then when you get toward the top, you know, it gets a little busy because some of the trails start to converge. But I've seen like probably 10 to 12 people already coming up while I've been descending. The thing though is, like, everybody's so nice, you know. You may not know the person that's walking alongside or opposite of you from a hole in the ground, but you know what? You got this one thing in common. You want to be out here using your own 2 feet to do what you want to do. So, you know, just think about that. So I say hi to everybody. You know, good morning, good luck. I never tell them they're almost there unless they are literally almost there. I hate when people say that to me. Like, oh, you're almost there. And it's like 2 miles of crazy incline to go. But yeah, everybody's been helpful. Not helpful. I was just helpful. There was a group of 4 people that wasn't sure if they were going the right way. And I said, you are. Got a little ways to go, but you are. I wanted to get an early start, get back to camp, because my plan is to take the world's greatest nap. And wait till you see what I sleep on. It's something I haven't even pulled out of the bag yet. You could probably guess what it is. Alright, let's do some more hiking and less talking. So I'm feeling it. Probably got about, what I'm saying I'm feeling is victory. I probably got about, I'm gonna guess about 0.3 to go or so. And that'll close out a good roughly 7.2 mile day. I'll summarize that later, but you know, things are pretty flat right now, and I should see that little Gilson Pond parking area sooner than later. It was a good hike. Kicks your butt for sure. My feet are feeling it. My feet are doing the old, like, why do you do this? Well, you were made for walking, so get walking. I stuck down a few Sour Patch Kids for my last little part here, just to give myself a sugar boost, which, by the way, Sour Patch Kids is my go-to full of sugar and very light. Go-to on the trail for sure, especially when I need that sugar boost. Big fan of peanut M&Ms. Cliff Bar works. I always bring like something for lunch, but a lot of times I don't end up eating lunch. I don't know. I mean, I have my peanut butter and orange marmalade sandwich at the top. I'm like a 68-year-old lady eating orange marmalade. But I'm going to use that orange marmalade later. I think. No, never mind. I thought that was in the dinner I was cooking, but it's not. So anyway, those Sour Patch Kids are going to get me to the finish line. It'll be over before I know it. A good day, accomplished day. And like I've been saying, I'm ready for that big fat nap. I'm going to wash my hands and face and just lay out. I can't wait. I see a pond. I love you, pond. I also see a trail to the pond, which is very tempting. But I'm not entirely sure if that's the type of water you could just jump into. So, I'll pass on that dip for today. But it looks like we're wrapping things up as we're going to finish up walking along the pond. Man, I can't wait to kick these boots off and take a nice nap. And what better thing to take a nap on than a hammock? Now, I have a hammock at home, like a yard hammock. I've never had one for camping. So, I just purchased this single owl hammock from Wise Owl Outfitters. It was highly rated and very cheap. It was like under 30 bucks, I believe. So I haven't used it yet. It's my first time. I wanted something that was kind of lightweight. I don't know if I'll be like hiking, like to sleep in this up in a mountain somewhere. Because I don't know for the price, I don't know if the materials are where it needs to be, and if that's your sleeping, then you want to make sure you're good. So I'm going to check it out anyway and see if I like the whole camping or hammocking thing. I don't see why I wouldn't. So I got the gray and orange, a couple of carabiners at the end. I'm gonna guess that these are the hammock straps that go around the tree. So I found a couple of good trees. I'm gonna give it a shot, see what happens.